now. Watching developments on the news these past few days is sometimes distressing for all of us, and it's important to recognize if it's impacting us, it's impacting our children. Nancy Ryan is a therapist and director of Relationship Therapy Center, here to share some advice on keeping that stress away from our children. Nancy, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So let's start with ourselves, because as we just said, if we're feeling the stress, then we can imprint onto our children. So how do we keep our stress and our anxiety at bay when we're seeing these events that can spark some reaction and emotion within ourselves?
Absolutely. With everything that we've been through over the last 9 months, there was so much hope for 2021. I've been hearing that in the counseling office, and this event that unfolded on the 6th created a lot of shock and stress, which is activating that fight or flight system inside our bodies. And so it's really important that instead of just rehashing what's going on, which we can call ruminating sometimes, that we're really talking about the emotions that we have underneath. You know, what's in our control, what are the actual feelings that we have, because a lot of feelings of anger and sadness for our country. And it's really important that we move and breathe and tell our bodies that that fight or flight system can settle down now.
We're seeing a lot of these news events, what happened at the Capitol, COVID-19 latest updates flashing across our screen. And a lot of times our kids are just right there. So how do we keep control of what we're seeing and not having our kids feel that anxiety? I have absolutely not found a way to do that at all.
Yeah. And I mean, it's important to stay informed. We all want to know what's going on, but I think we do need to limit that time, and especially if our kids are sitting there with us. So watching a reputable source for 10-15 minutes and then being able to turn it off. And our kids are like thermometers, and they will pick up whatever we're feeling. So being able to turn to them, no matter what their ages are, and say, what did you notice? And asking open-ended questions so that we're not feeding them information, but they're telling us, like, oh, those were bad people. Yeah, you know, and talk about the choices that they made.
So how do we talk to our children about this? I have young children, and I also have teenagers, and my youngest ask simple questions. What's going on, Mommy? Are we okay? What are you supposed to say?
Yeah, and absolutely. And to be able to, the younger ones especially, to be able to say, you know, there's some people that made some bad choices because they were angry or sad, and that's not how we deal with our emotions. And the thing to say with young children are to remind them that it was contained and there were helpers there that made it okay, so that there's a safety feature in there.
And that they're okay, right, Nancy? Hold our kids close, and they want to know that they're okay and that they're safe at home.
Yes, absolutely, because their questions are, could that happen here? And so to normalize that a lot and say, you know, there were people that stopped that right away and we're safe here at home. With the older kids, it's really good to start talking about kind of the sports analogy and how we be gracious losers. And, you know, if that was you, how would you handle that? And start getting some conversation going, but also to be talking about their emotions. Things so many of us just rehash and, oh my God, can you believe that? And rather than saying, wow, that really makes me angry. That really makes me sad. Right? So getting right to the emotions.
Acknowledging their feelings, acknowledging their questions. Nancy Ryan, therapist, owner and director of Relationship Therapy Center. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, and Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. You too, Mick.
Thank you. 8:49 is your time. Let's get a